Good morning to you all here. A happy April 11th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And boy, did we have some wild storms out there yesterday along the Ohio Valley, down into the southeast, now into the East Coast today. Large hail was out there, damaging winds. We actually had a confirmed tornado yesterday in Princeton, Indiana, potentially doing EF1 to EF2 damage. Just not expecting that to happen yesterday up there. You can typically get some spin with some of these storms. It's very rare that they happen with these positively tilted troughs that move in with these northwesterly to southeasterly flowing events, but they can happen. I mentioned that yesterday in the video that an isolated tornado could be possible yesterday, and it did actually verify, sadly. So thoughts and prayers go out to the people that were impacted from that storm yesterday in Princeton, Indiana. That's not too far from us. That's actually about an hour or two away from where we're at here in Kentucky, so not too far from that there. But we are going to shift over to what's ongoing this morning here. We've got two different patterns ongoing. We've got what's left of that system moving through. We do have some showers and some severe weather expected along the East Coast today. We've also got our next system that's going to be moving in up here in the northwestern Pacific that we're going to be watching that could bring the threat for some severe weather later on early next week, as well as into the following portions of the end of next week. So just a lot going on in the weather world, guys. I also want to mention as well, we are continuing to see an uptrend in the potential for significant severe weather as we go towards the end of April. It's looking like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, our typical average central plains is about to get going here. And I'll talk about that here again in just a few minutes. But we've just got a lot to talk about here in the next couple of days. Get y'all ready to go for that peak tornado season that's going to be on tap here for the next couple of weeks. So we'll go over here and zoom over here into the East Coast here, where we do have a marginal risk for severe weather. We'll switch this over here so you guys can actually see radar. We've got a marginal risk for severe weather that goes from basically southern Florida all the way up into Savannah, Georgia, back up into southeast portions of South Carolina and North Carolina here. We've got ongoing showers and storms. Now, this isn't the main round of storms that's going to be coming through. This is just your low moving through. We've got lots of moisture banding off the East Coast here. This low is going to continue to move here off the East Coast. And what's going to happen this afternoon is we're going to have a little bit of lift, a little bit of instability. Dew points are pretty decent in place for today. We're going to give us the threat for some isolated wind and some damaging hail out there, just potentially on the table for you guys out there along the I-95 corridor. So just be mindful of that. Can't rule out a brief spin up tornado. There's actually a 2% tornado risk that is in play for today. They did go ahead and add that, so that is smart of them. Just there will be some low level shear in place. Not anything tremendously crazy, but enough to allow for some severe weather, possibly an isolated tornado. Back down here as well into Jacksonville, we're expecting wind and hail. Not really a tornado risk down there. That's going to be more confined to our upper level low that's moving there along the East Coast. But you guys can see lots of heavy rain falling along that I-85, 95, and 295 corridor all the way up to Washington, D.C. We actually could see some snow mix in somewhere up here towards the higher elevations of the Northeast later on at the end of this afternoon and tonight. So just also something to be mindful of, but we're not expecting any ridiculous, crazy accumulations. Just going to be a soggy, wet day out there, especially along that I-95 corridor. So just be careful if you're out there driving. Be very, very mindful what you're doing out and about if you get issued a warning or any of that. I also want to mention one thing as well, guys. I typically see this a lot in my comment section or in my videos, but I want y'all to understand something. When you get a risk zone for severe weather, level 1 to 5, you need to take it seriously. Yesterday, we didn't have a tornado risk out for Indiana. It was a marginal risk for wind and hail, and we had an EF1 tornado happen. So I need everybody to take risk zones seriously. I'm just reiterating that because we are approaching peak tornado season or going into peak tornado season. Not like we've not had enough tornadoes this year for a lot of areas, but I just want y'all to be mindful that when you get severe weather risk zones level 1 to 5, don't take that level 1 and level 2 risks so lightly just because you're barely in it or you're, they're not calling for tornadoes, etc. What I'm basically saying is take all risk zones seriously. If we tell you there's a threat, take that threat seriously. If there's a conditional threat, take that threat seriously. Have a way to get watches and warnings and know where to go if you get a warning. So we'll go ahead and dive into what we're going to be looking at severe weather wise here over the next couple days, kind of what our future is going to be, and we'll talk about some models, and then we'll wrap things up. Now, we're going to go ahead and dive into the Storm Prediction Center here and talk about what we're seeing in terms of what they're issuing outlook-wise here for severe weather. And you guys can see that marginal risk that I've mentioned here a few minutes ago for severe weather is a conditional 2% tornado risk along the East Coast here. We've got Fayetteville, North Carolina, Wilmington, Greenville, Jacksonville, and Rocky Mount, North Carolina in that risk zone. Wind threat is at 5% from Florida all the way up to the Carolinas and Virginia, and the hail threat is also at 5%. Wind and hail are going to be the biggest threats with that isolated conditional tornado risk existing if any storms can become surface-based and basically latch on to instability at the surface there with some shear in place as well. So just something we'll be watching for. Not anything too crazy today. We've also got a really rare threat for tomorrow. I haven't seen a marginal risk in this neck of the woods at all this year. So we're now starting to get the higher plains in the upper Midwest here getting going here pretty quickly as well. Marginal risk for severe weather for wind and hail up into portions of western portions of South Dakota here up into Wyoming and southern portions there of Montana getting into that. So just something to be mindful up there. Wind and hail are going to be priority threats for tomorrow up there. We'll talk more timing. Day 3, we're not looking at anything right now. General thunderstorm risk. As we go into next week, next week's going to get a little bit interesting, I think, in terms of severe weather. We do have a Day 4 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. We're going to have another trough that's going to move through, very similar to what we're seeing right now, that northwesterly to southeasterly flow, low coming out of Canada. That's going to allow for some cold pooling to set up again. That's that colder air aloft in the atmosphere and at the surface. Instead of having warm and cold air mixed together, you get cold air in both scenarios, and you get what's called a damaging wind and a hail threat. And the Storm Prediction Center actually had this slight risk issued yesterday. Level 2 risk out of 5 here for portions of eastern and northern Kentucky, southeast Indiana here, up into southern and central Ohio, western West Virginia, and southwestern portions of Pennsylvania, including the Pittsburgh, PA area. So something that we're going to watch here. We will more than likely be going live for this event next Monday as this gets closer to approach here. Just something I'm looking at very, very closely. Could see an isolated conditional tornado risk with this as well, but this looks to be a wind and a hail threat once again. We'll keep you guys updated on this. A little bit far out to kind of get into too many details, but Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky. So just continuing to add rain, and just the severe weather just doesn't make anything better in terms of cleaning up from all of the flooding that we've just seen down in those areas as well. So once again, thoughts and hearts and prayers go out to those people that are being impacted with those storms, myself included being one of those. So just something we're going to watch out here. Now, another thing I want to mention here as well, I pull this up a lot and I talk about this a lot. This is what we call the accumulated supercell composite. The Colorado State University releases this twice a day. Just kind of updates us on where we could see severe weather trends at. And currently right now, here's where we set at, not expecting a lot of severe weather. I want to watch this as we go into the 14th of April. So this is going to be starting on Monday. We start to see this kind of rapid climb here of the potential for more significant severe weather later down the road. And this goes between now and about the end of April 24th time period, and even past that, we know we're going to get severe weather. The ensemble show it, the guidance is starting to show it. So we're going to start to see this uptrend in severe weather again. I want you guys to continue to be weather aware, have a way to get alerts on your phones. As always, we'll continue to cover storms that need to be covered with this event, but just something to kind of take into consideration there as we go into approaching that end of April tornado season, as we get into May, where things get a lot more crazier. And the Storm Prediction Center, not Storm Prediction Center, but CSU here going very, very, very confident so far with these supercell composite parameters. We're really going to start to see, I think, a return to our traditional tornado alley here. That's Oklahoma, Texas, back up there into Nebraska, Kansas, into portions of Missouri, Arkansas, western Louisiana there. So traditional tornado alley are more than likely about to wake up. And if you are in those areas, you need to be mindful here. This is typically around that time of the year where we see these major severe weather events. This is valid between April 18th and April 24. And if we go and we look at the week 3, very, very similar, same areas, April 25th to May 1st here. So I think as we get closer to the end of next week and approach that final 3rd-ish and 4th week of April, things are going to start to get a little bit more wild again. I don't have too many details on this yet. We're going to talk about our models and kind of looking at our troughing and kind of start to get an idea of what things could look like. But nowhere is this set in stone in terms of what we're going to be seeing with our severe weather yet. So just be mindful, guys. Like I said, have your severe weather action plans in place. I can't reiterate that enough after what we've seen over the last couple of weeks here. Just wanted to keep you guys prepared, keep you guys safe, keep you all ready to go. But we'll go ahead and dive into our models here and kind of talk about what we're going to be seeing in general in the future. Now, we're going to go over here and head over to Aguacero WX here. This is our new model app, our new model website that we are partnered with here. I'll talk about that again here in just a second. This is just an amazing, amazing website here, guys, in terms of being able to overlay different ingredients in your atmosphere to kind of give you different setups to kind of show in terms of what the atmosphere is looking at from not just one perspective, but from different perspectives at once. So really, really cool website here. I'm falling in love with this every single day that I use this. If you guys have not signed up or subscribed to this website yet, definitely do it. It is absolutely worth it at the end of the day here, as we are partnered with them now to give you guys the better idea of what's going to be happening weather realistic wise in the future with models, etc. And if you just really like weather in general, definitely hop into this, give it a free trial, extend your subscription. It is awesome. It is super awesome. So if you like playing with models, if you like being able to overlap things, layer things, endless professionalism here with this website here. Just really appreciate what they're doing here at Aguacero WX. So we'll go ahead and dive into the Triple HR model run here and kind of give you guys a run with what we're going to be looking at here. And what we're going to show on this run is, one, our future cast for today, what the models are, what the HER model is showing in terms of what the radar could look like. We're also going to see what surface-based CAPE looks like here with this today. So surface-based CAPE is that instability down at the surface that kind of gives us that tornado potential in place, as well as that wind and hail potential. You want to see surface-based instability to have a tornado potential to exist. And so what we're going to see here is we're going to see, as the morning progresses here, Showers and storms continuing along the east there, east coast there along the Carolinas and Virginia and up towards Washington, D.C. But I want you guys to start to pay attention. As we get closer to lunchtime, we're going to start to see these isolated, discrete supercells that are going to fire off here. These could become surface-based. If they do become surface-based, there could be a conditional tornado risk with this. As I mentioned, a couple tornadoes can't be ruled out. We'll be watching this very, very closely today as well. I wouldn't be shocked if the Storm Prediction Center this afternoon goes upgrade with a slight risk along the east coast just due to that cape being there, as well as the potential for an elevated maybe tornado risk. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. But we start to see as the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour gets here this afternoon, that low continues to move off the east coast there, spinning, moving up to the northeast there, and most of these showers and storms are gone and out of here by dinner time tonight. So a pretty quick window for supercells to fire off, but if anything can become surface-based, wind, hail, and an isolated tornado will definitely be possible. You'll see that low continue to spin off to the northeast there, and that cape move off the east coast, so we're not expecting any severe weather for tomorrow up there. That'll just mostly be rain up there in the northeast. Just another soggy weekend for you guys. And then after that, that system will eventually finally move off the coast by Sunday morning. So just a lot to get to in terms of that. If you have a way to get, or if you are out and about today, you need to have a way to get alerts on your phones, as I mentioned multiple times in this video here. Just be severe weather aware in terms of that. So just we'll keep you guys updated on that. Now, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, guys, we are partnered with Aguacero at WX here to give y'all a 20% off your first month or year. Make sure you guys use that promo code capital Mesomat20 there. It helps me out. It helps them out, continuing to grow both of our platforms in terms of giving you guys reliable weather information. If you want a professional model app, this is definitely on the table. If you like having different things to layer overlap with in the weather-wise field, or in the weather field, I should say, definitely consider subscribing, giving it a free trial, and then subscribing. It is just absolutely worth it. The amount of information that this website has is just absolutely crucial to helping forecast weather in terms of severe weather, winter weather, hurricane season, all that, etc. So definitely go down there. Link will be posted at the end of this video, as well as it will be posted in my bio. So make sure y'all do that, and we'll hop right back into the video. All right, let's talk about what we're going to be looking at in the future here with our jet stream, our precip run, and our dew points here. That's what we're going to hit on today with our future outlook here for what we're going to be seeing for the next couple of days and next couple of weeks. And what we've got on our screen here is our 500 millibar height and wind. This is our jet stream in the mid levels of the atmosphere. Kind of gives us an idea of what we're going to be seeing. And as I mentioned yesterday, jet stream flowing northwest to southeast here. You can see that ridge building here over in the West Pacific, or in the Four Corners here as well, continuing to keep things warm and nice and dry. Very colder air aloft down here, bringing us that threat for cold air or cold air intrusion and cold pooling, giving us that overall severe weather threat that was yesterday and for today. So continuing to see that positively tilted trough move in, warm air on the left, cold air on the right. As we go through the next couple of days here, we're going to see that troughing eventually move off to the east. Ridge is going to build, continue to see a ridge build. We're going to get a little bit of a clipper system that could bring some isolated snow and some low end severe weather potential, maybe. More going to be rain than anything else up here as we go towards Monday and Tuesday. Not expecting too much out of this. Continuing to see a ridge down here. Things should dry out down in the southeast and the southern plains. I don't expect too much in terms of severe weather the next couple of days, especially as we get closer to Monday. But I want to watch this as well as we go into Monday afternoon. That jet stream is going to increase. That potential is going to increase for severe weather, as we do have that level 2 slight risk that's back here into the eastern portions of the lower Ohio Valley here with that trough up to the north, or that low up to the north, trough digging in. This could take on a little bit more of a potential stronger severe weather threat if things increase with this. I'm definitely looking at a damaging wind threat and a hail threat with a conditional tornado risk. But what you notice with this is your wind barbs are out of the southwest this time compared to what they are yesterday and today, where they're out of the northwest. So a little bit of a different directional change here. We'll keep you guys updated on that, but definitely could be looking at some rain, some severe weather in some of these areas going into next Monday and Tuesday. And then as we go through past into the middle portions of next week, I wouldn't be shocked if we get another day of severe weather potentially on Tuesday or Wednesday along the east coast, with that jet stream continuing to push east. After that moves through a little bit of a quiet period again, we get another little clipper system, another positively tilted trough moving in at the end of next week. Starting to get a little bit uncertain at this point because this is over 7 days out, but we could see more wind and hail and potentially low and severe weather again back into the Ohio Valley, the southeast. Just not getting enough, apparently, according to what the models are suggesting here on the GFS model run. But then that system will clear out, and then I want you guys to pay attention to something here. We're going to go through another pattern change. We're going to have a pretty big ridge that's going to develop going into the 19th and beyond. And this is, where I say we're in la land at this point, but you got what's called an omega block pattern. And this is, like I said, something you don't typically see most times, not unless you are in the summertime. So the fact that we're getting this set up as we go into the end of April and May is a little bit interesting to me, but we're going to start to see these little shortwave troughs, and eventually our MJO is going to kick back up again, and it's going to give us multiple significant trough ejections, especially as we go into the end of April here. You can see a very strong shortwave negatively tilted trough. This would favor severe weather in the southern plains and the central plains going into the 20th and beyond. And then past that point, You can see multiple troughs moving in. We start to get very, very active in the plains. As long as these negatively tilted troughs and neutral tilted troughs move over the plains, you'll get severe weather pretty much every single time, and that's just going to be with a favorable dynamic environment that'll be in place, as well as kinematic and sheared environment. So just something we're really going to have to watch over the next couple of days here. I'll kind of give you guys a precip run as well, kind of show what we could be seeing with this as well. You can see showers and storms along the east coast for today and tomorrow and into Sunday. Clears out a little bit. We'll get a clipper system up to the north there. Showers and storms maybe potentially along the Ohio Valley there on Monday and Tuesday. You can see where that severe weather threat would be placed at over there in the lower Ohio Valley. That'll move out on the east coast on Tuesday and Wednesday. Clears out again. Ridge builds next Wednesday, next Thursday, and then we could get a more organized severe weather threat with this trough maybe coming in next Thursday and Friday. Just something we'll watch again. More rain in areas that do not need it again and again and again. And then that clears out. We start to get past that 7-day period thing where things get uncertain, and then we could see the uptrend for severe weather along the central plains and southern plains as we get closer to the end of April. One more thing I want to show you guys as well is going to be those dew points. Gives us an idea of how much moisture is in the atmosphere at the surface. You can see a sharp dry line setup as we go towards Sunday and Monday here, getting that threat ready to go for the Ohio Valley there on Monday. You can see dew points pushing the 50s, maybe some 60s popping up Monday afternoon there in the lower Ohio Valley, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, more moisture streaming in. I wouldn't be shocked if the SPC, Storm Prediction Center, pulls that marginal or slight risk down a little bit further south as well with that troughing coming in. And then that's going to work its way off to the east. And then as we get in towards the end of next week, this is where I start to see the plains start to become a factor in terms of potential maybe low and severe weather threat. And then as we get into the end of April, things just get a little bit uncertain, but we continue to see that pull north of instability and of moisture, and that's going to allow for an open warm sector for maybe even a dry line setup for severe weather. So just something we're watching here very closely. Not quite set in stone yet, but if you are in the plains, you definitely need to have your severe weather action plans in place and ready to go for that peak tornado season here. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I know it's a little bit of a lengthy video. We're going to try and start making these streams here, or these lives on YouTube. Not lives, but these videos on YouTube a little bit more lengthy because you guys do sub, so I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys also do follow on TikTok if you have not done that. So that's where we will continue to be live at as of right now. But other than that, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Have a happy Friday, and we'll see you guys in the next one.